Hey guys, this is the first of a new series by Fresh Look Racing called The Fresh Look to showcase our youthful,
sometimes idiotic,
and generally fresh perspectives on the auto and motorsports industry. I am Matthew McCree.
and I'm Martin Lynn.
And on to our first episode.
Hey guys, last week there was the Geneva Auto Show and three of the biggest names in the car industry launched three amazing hypercars. One of which was the LaFerrari, the McLaren P1 and the Lamborghini Veneno. And today we're just going to be talking about our opinions on these three.
Alright guys, now if I gave you the opportunity to have a radical, impractical, extremely expensive, but generally out of this world, an extraordinary hypercar, completely uneconomical, or the option of two insanely fast hypercars that are environmentally friendly and use state-of-the-art Formula 1 based technology, which would you pick? I offered this question to Martin on Friday and his option was?
I would choose the only hypercar that is a proper supercar of the group, which is the Lamborghini Veneno, because I don't think that a hybrid engine in something as crazy as a supercar makes any sense.
You are essentially adding more performance alongside improved environmental sustainability. See, the way forward right now is for eco-friendliness, because as we move forward and as more people get cars, as the world develops, we're going to be consuming more fuels and producing more toxins and all those things, and hence if at the top end of the auto industry we can have generally enjoyable hypercars that are also economically friendly, then why not?
And my argument against that is that the limited amount of these cars that will be made cannot account for any significant fraction of the CO2 that is released into the atmosphere.
Going back to the topic of these cars, the Ferrari and the McLaren are developed based on Formula 1 technology. Now only 22 this year Formula 1 cars will be racing. Now these cars, they take up little fuel relative to the amount of cars in the world, as Martin rightly said. However, as you guys know, a lot of the cars of the week have been on hybrid cars or fully electric cars. Now my problem with that is I absolutely hate the idea that you are going to get rid of the roaring of a proper combustion engine, the brilliant sound of a Lamborghini or any of these cars for the sake of the whining of a Prius. I would much prefer to be able to go out and buy an actual enjoyable electric car. We saw the Toyota TMG EV that went around the Nürburgring faster than any other electric car. Beforehand we could just get up and say let's just buy a Prius if we want an electric car. But now that Toyota's technology will eventually trickle down into your road car, so that to some extent you can have an enjoyable hybrid car, which is why I actually like the LaFerrari, even though I think it's an absolutely ridiculous name.
It's terrible.
The McLaren P1.
I'm saying that I would rather spend the more money getting a more manly car with a W16 with insane amount of turbos and coolers and everything, and and still have the luxuries of a normal saloon car, rather than saying okay, let's have a supercar and put a hybrid engine on it, which is basically like strapping a hybrid Prius onto a McLaren F1. It was never about how eco-friendly or how smart you could be with these cars. It was never about that. It was always about how fast you could go, the tradition behind the car, the history behind the brand of the car, and the quality of the car. I don't understand why you're not changing
Alright, now the thing is, the LaFerrari, it's called LaFerrari, as ridiculous as that is, because it's supposed to symbolize the essence of what Ferrari is, going back to the 60s of starting in Formula 1 and all that.
Nobody had hybrid engines in the 60s.
Yes. But what I'm just saying is that you, as a car enthusiast, is a bit in the old-fashioned sense, that you're not seeing where the auto industry is going.
No,
Alright, I'm going to bring up an analogy. medicine. We all know medicine tastes terrible.
Not
No.
all of it.
Now, if I came up to you, and God forbid you actually get cancer one day, and said, Martin, this medicine will cure your cancer, but it tastes good.
Then I would look at you and laugh.
The McLaren,
No, I
the McLaren
understand,
and the
but
Ferrari, hold on, the McLaren and the Ferrari are integrating something that is not what supercars were. But the truth is, we go back to the 60s, they barely had electric cars then. They never had any of that development. And nowadays, you can get a faster car that is an electric car. So why not get a higher performing car that is even better than the old ones? But just because they're hybrid, they're bad. You see, what I'm getting at is that hybrids have a connotation of being girl cars, or they're being unmanly.
Feminine.
Because what this guy wants is a ridiculous Mustang with a ridiculous V8 engine with a dirty supercharger on it that just breaks up the earth as it drives across.
Exactly, and that's a supercar.
What is wrong with a redefinition of what a supercar is?
I never said there
Because
was
the truth
anything
is,
wrong with it. I
no,
was
you're
just
saying that there's
I
a
don't
problem.
understand. Exactly.
You're saying that there is a problem with the introduction of hybrid engines, right?
Yes. Into supercars.
Into supercars. Now, supercars, last time I checked, nobody said it had to be this size engine, it had to be this, because there are a lot of cars, for example the Porsche, that is very unconventional. That is, the engine is at the rear of the car, yet it's still considered a supercar. You have other cars, for example, the... Shit, what am I talking about? The Bugatti that you like, that's very unconventional. Who the hell decided to get up and say, hey, let's put 16 cylinders on it and 4 turbochargers?
Exactly what
you're
point
saying is that
the passion of a car is hindered by the introduction of a hybrid engine. If I bought one of those cars and said, oh, you know, it has 950 brake horsepower, I would never mention to anybody that it was a hybrid engine.
Yeah, but you pull up to
Never.
the guy in his 740 horsepower Lamborghini and you dust him off the line.
That doesn't matter how many places.
Oh,
in the earth.
so what you're saying is that the speed of the car doesn't matter, because what you want to do is run up to a line, pull up to the guy beside you, rev your engine, finish $20 worth of gas like that, but you don't have an electric engine, so you're more of a badass.
Exactly, pretty much.
And this is why I
Because
think
my
you're an
essence, my understanding of a supercar is supposed to be super.
Bring up some photos in this, and just to show you the car. This is the Ferrari, this is the McLaren, and this is the Lamborghini. And let's be honest, they look stunning. And what my problem with all of these cars is that Geneva Motor Show, we are now in 2013, and that Lamborghini V something looks like
Veneno.
Veneno. That Lamborghini something looks like an old concept by them, and I'm actually genuinely worried about Lamborghini, because
Well, they're now
the
owned by
Geneva-
Audi, and therefore they're much more conservative than they ever were.
really, have you seen the car?
Okay, let's just beat that buck out.
Let's just okay, that is going in it, because I think the world needs to just realize how wrong you're. This is why the topic really came up, because the truth is, if you had £3 million to buy one of these cars, personally I'd buy the Ferrari, he'd buy the Lamborghini, and somebody else would get the McLaren. Because I think really and truly all three of them are amazing cars. This is where you guys come in. Get back to us on what your opinion is. Am I right in saying that new supercars should embrace this new wave of eco-friendliness, assuming they remain fun and enjoyable and desirable?
Or am I right in the fact that supercars are supposed to be super, and it doesn't matter like their CO2 emission?
Like our page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, comment below on what you think.
And thank you guys for watching.